Welcome to the 96th Annual Academy Awards Makeup and Hairstyling Bake-Off. We're celebrating films that have been shortlisted for the Makeup and Hairstyling Award.
בתל אביב מסיבת עיתונאים עם ראש הממשלה הגברת גולדה מאיר. אנו עוברים מפה בשידור ישיר אל מסיבת העיתונאים של ראש הממשלה בתל אביב.
Are you ready, Prime Minister?
The exploration that you did designing the Golda character and what you found worked and didn't work, what were things that you were trying with Helen that you were like, this is great and maybe we'll go this route or what have you?
Helen was very reluctant for the prosthetics in the beginning. She'd never really had a transformative look like that before. We really started with the viewpoint that we would get all the elements together, and then if we got rid of some, we could get rid of some. We thought with Golda, the wig is one thing. We definitely needed the contacts because Helen's got very bright blue eyes and Golda's were brown. Also looked at the prosthetics in a way that we could use all or none. So we had cheek pieces, eye bags. We actually had a chin piece we didn't use. We had teeth made. We got all the elements together for the test. We had a lot of help from Golda's family, in actual fact. They told me that when she washed her hair, she left it and then put it into the plait. She had a manicure every week. You wouldn't think that. When her grandchildren watched it, they said, yeah, we've just watched our grandmother.
My husband, the children, and acting takes the rest of the time that's left over.
And memorizing my projects.
Well, I can't help that.
Creative person sits alone in this great studio that you see here and writes all by himself and communicates with the world in a very private way.
There's one thing in the movie we don't see. There's a device you and Bradley kind of came up with, a secret little thing that maybe you can speak to.
The likeness of Leonard Bernstein was very important. When I met Bradley, and he was already training with Tim Monick, who is a dialect coach, Leonard Bernstein had deviated septum, so kind of nasal voice. Bradley asked me, can you do something about it? Okay, maybe I can change the size of the hole on the nose plug to widen the nose so you can have that effect to it. So I gave him like 3 different sizes and try out. We kind of nailed down to the size, and that's what he had in his nose. Of course, Bradley did this effort to make the voice closer, like a final help to change the tone a little bit.
Dr. Oppenheimer, when did your strong moral convictions develop with respect to the hydrogen bomb?
When it became clear to me that we would tend to use any weapon we had.
Well, I want to talk about the different stages you did on Cillian Murphy, who played Oppenheimer.
Yeah, with Cillian Murphy, the whole story spans 5 decades, and this spanned for him early 20s through to late 50s. I broke it into 6 stages. His most youthful look at Cambridge. I used dental plumpers to counteract the weight loss. We went into the second look in his late 20s. I removed the plumpers there and kept the same youthful complexion. At Los Alamos, which is the third look, Oppenheimer was more tanned and glowing. Later on in his 40s, that's when we started to show the subtle aging. We introduced small pieces encapsulated in custom-made stretch and stipple aging material. One of the most important things with this film was we were shooting IMAX 70mm, so there was no room for error at all.
Taxi, madam.
There's a mention in the film that her hair grows quite quickly, so there must have been many versions. Can you please walk us through Emma's makeup and hair?
So Bella's an experiment, and it's documented in the script that her hair grows at an accelerated rate. I thought it might be quite nice to kind of map that as she grows as a woman through the story as well, and she goes to all these different countries. I got an email from Yorgos, our director, very shortly after getting the film, and that just said, no wigs. That's all it said. So I had to do it with really fine hair wefts at lots of different lengths. And so I changed it from when she arrives in Lisbon to the ship, and then in Paris, where we end at 42-inch wefts. And the decision to keep it down all the time as well is just a kind of real marker of her place in society, that she doesn't know the norms. She's not kind of shackled to any rules. So while the background artists all around her are in this kind of Victorian styles, she wouldn't know how to do that, and it's a real kind of marker of who she is.
Eduardo Strauch.
How closely did you stick to the actual characters, and how did you collaborate with David and Montse?
Nos apegamos todo lo que pudimos porque eso para J. Bayona es.
So we had to follow very closely the look of the original characters. That was extremely important for the director J. Bayona because we were talking about real people, and a lot of them are still alive. One of the things we had to do with the actors, we actually had to make them look younger at the beginning to give them that youthful look, so that then you can see the change that they go through. And I want you to see what happened to them in their faces. It was 72 days of filming, and it was all filmed in continuity.
I know none of us are going to miss it, but tune into the Academy Awards, Sunday, March 10th on ABC. Thank you very much for coming. Join us downstairs for the reception.